7, 8.
Watching the days burning out like a cigarette, just a few drags to go. You built me up and you broke me down. Right now everything just seems so clear to me, nothing left to know. I love you right and I love you pure right now.
Go ahead.
All right, my name is Matt Walker.
I'm Paul Rose, and collectively with our third friend Scott, who is in Big Bear City, we're the Trek for Troops, and we want to say hello to Echo Park.
Yeah, hello Echo Park.
So what are you guys doing here?
We are walking from Mexico to Canada. We've been at it for the last 2.5 weeks, and it's going to take us about 4 to 4.5 months. We're just it's about 2,658 miles, and we are just walking on up there in the middle. We're about 300 miles deep right now.
Yeah, we're singing our way across this country to raise funds and awareness for a charity that builds homes for disabled veterans with severe amputations, traumatic brain injuries. They're called Homes for Our Troops, and that's the charity that we support. We've raised $25,000 for them just from the greater LA area right now, so we know that you guys have lots of philanthropy down there in LA. Gotta love it.
How can you say that it's too late to save us now?
You are in Deep Creek now in Apple Valley. How did the path take you here? How was that?
Well, the path is right behind you. The PCT goes right along that ridge line. So we just happened upon this area. We didn't even know we were going to be here. But we saw the spring and all the people, and we're like, hey, let's go swim. We're really hot. We'd already walked like 15 miles, so we were kind of just wanted to get some water all over us. That's pretty awesome.
So these are the hot springs and the river and all that. Yeah. So how are you doing this tour? Do you have a lot of spare shoes with you? Do you sleep in hotels, or how do you do this?
We sleep in the wilderness. We have tents with us, so we do occasionally stay a night in a town if we're going to take a 0 day, which we try to keep pretty sparse. But sometimes we take a day to let our legs recover, just because
most importantly to do shows.
Yeah, and we do shows. We go in there.
What kind of show?
We sing with our friend Scotty. We write and arrange our own 3-part arrangements of like barbershop, a cappella music, and we write patriotic songs to let people know, because we are raising money to build homes for disabled war vets.
So do people perceive you like pilgrims, or how do they perceive you?
I don't really know how they perceive us.
Crazy people.
I think they think we're nuts. Yeah, I think that's, and we are. I don't know what we're thinking, but you know, we thought that there wouldn't be a better way to try to help out some people than to walk your way across this wonderful, beautiful nation, and to tell everyone you meet exactly what you're doing and how they can be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get to the idea to support veterans?
Our best friend's a veteran. He's a Navy veteran, and he came back totally sound of mind and body, and yet we still had to see the things that he goes through just becoming a civilian again, and we just started finding out about all the different things that we don't do properly for our veterans, and we decided that we wanted to be a part of a generation that stands up and says that it's time for the richest nation in the world to start acting like the richest nation in the world when it comes to the way we treat our veterans.
So what are you exactly doing for the veterans with the support that you collect?
Every dollar goes to Homes for Our Troops. Homes for Our Troops, they have a very low overhead. It's only 7% overhead for a charity, which is wonderful. And they just get the entire community involved with in the community that the veteran lives in, get a plot of land, and they build a home that accommodates for their needs. If they have a leg amputation per se, then they have to have a wheelchair ramp maybe to get out the front door, you know. So these veterans, and you know what, they go to war, they defend our freedom. When they come back, there's not sufficient legislation to make sure they're getting taken care of. And in a lot of these cases, they can't even get out the front door to go to work, to try and make a life for themselves. And it's just, it's wrong to let our veterans come back and struggle in civilian life.
So what do you think about the war in the first place?
Well, you know, all of us kind of come from the same idea that we don't like war. We think it's something that should be avoided at all, if at all possible. I would say that's the most important thing, is that I'm a pacifist. I think we should avoid war, but I also think that as long as it's something that we as a people are voting to be a part of, and whether or not you like the war, if you're an American, you chose to have war part of your life, because America's at war, And as long as we choose to live in the nation, the land of the free, where we do send troops overseas, we need to take care of them when they come back, regardless of how you feel about war.
Okay, so can you talk about the shoes again, like your equipment and everything, how you sleep in the... Did you ever have an encounter with coyotes or anything?
We've had encounters with the wind, I'd say, is the worst thing that we've had encounters with so far, and snakes.
And rattlesnakes, yeah. Those
rattlesnakes, yeah. It came with that, like, this close to stepping on the head of a western diamondback rattlesnake. It totally sucked. Yeah. Wasn't really...
Any other...
I'm not sure exactly how PC, or not PC, but how PG we have to keep this, but you can take a look at my foot and see just about exactly how this trail is treating us.
That's the grossest, ugliest foot you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, look at this one right here too.
We got a nasty one there too.
Okay,
yeah,
and pan away from that.
That's the footwear. Right. So we use a trail running shoe. This is the Asics Gel Trabuco L11 wide runners. It's a trail running shoe so that we can hike faster. When you're trying to cover 2,650 miles, the focus is on getting the weight of everything down. All of our equipment, everything we need to live out in the wild weighs about 15 pounds for everything. Food and water, of course, is much more than that, but just the stuff we need to survive out in the wild is only about 15 pounds. So we carry that, we wear those shoes. Yeah.
How do you get your food?
Well, we mail it forward or we buy it in towns when we stop. So our next stop is Wrightwood, and they have a pretty big store, so we didn't mail anything to Wrightwood. We're just going to go in, buy the stuff that we need to go for the next 5 days, and then head back out.
And I will wait for you, oh, if you will wait.